God of War Ragnarok is finally out for PC, and it even comes with the amazing Valhalla DLC included and a new setting that makes the game even better. Whether you're starting fresh on PC or just picked up the game on PlayStation, there are a ton of features and content that are handy to know about, so I'll share some useful tips and all the important info right here. And while it's a new game, Kratos is of course as strong as ever. In fact, you'll find that a ton of moves from God of War 2018 are still available. You get the Blades of Chaos back pretty soon into the story as well, but there are also some new elemental attacks you have access to right from the start. For the axe, you get the Frost Awaken skill, which empowers the weapon with ice by holding down the button. Once empowered, your next attack or axe throw will be different from a regular attack and will build up a ton of frost on an enemy too. For the blades, you get the Flame Whiplash attack, which you trigger by tapping the button to swing them around and build up momentum. Once fully built up, you can launch a line of flames with a light attack input or leave a fiery AoE on the ground with the heavy attack. All these attacks are very powerful, and the game also pushes you to switch between the two weapons by giving you skills that increase the damage of the axe against burning targets and the blades against frozen targets. Not long after the game's epic opening, you're introduced to another new mechanic for Ragnarok, which is Kratos being able to equip different types of shields. After the prologue, you are presented with a choice between two new types, the Stonewall and the Dauntless. The Stonewall shield is perfect for blocking, allowing you to absorb incoming hits to charge the shield and counter with a devastating ground pound. If parrying is more your thing, the Dauntless shield is perfect for you. A parry stores a charge in the shield indicated by the middle beginning to glow, and double tapping the block button expends this charge on an empowered shield bash. A perfectly timed parry will trigger a different animation and store an even more powerful charge, allowing you to launch an enemy back at full force with an empowered shield bash. Both are a ton of fun, and you'll be able to craft the one you don't pick and unlock some other options by either story progression or by finding them in chests. Even though the new additions are awesome, I ended up gravitating back to the Guardian shield because it's the most versatile out of the bunch. But if you want a more extended rundown of all the shields you can use in Ragnarok, I'll link to our video on the topic in the video description. And if you're starting to feel overwhelmed by all these new mechanics, Ragnarok also adds a spot for you to safely practice your combat skills and combos. After unlocking the Niflheim realm, which happens early in the story, you can come here and interact with the stone sword hilt across from the blacksmith to start training. You get to pick which enemy type you'd like to practice against, and they will just keep spawning in, allowing you to fight for as long as you like. And I mean that quite literally, as Kratos cannot die in this mode, so you're safe to mess around as much as you'd like. While you can't earn experience in this training arena, you can farm out your skill challenges here to make yourself a bit stronger. Each skill in Ragnarok has a challenge tied to it, which basically just means you have to use that skill a certain number of times. After completing the challenge, you can unlock an upgrade for that skill, giving you a choice between 3 buffs that do things like increase damage, elemental buildup, or stun for a specific attack. And yeah, every time you use this move in that combat arena, it counts towards progression, so you can use that to grind out these challenges. So while Niflheim is smaller this time around, many returning and new realms in Ragnarok are much bigger and have a more open optional area for you to explore next to the main quest areas. These contain side missions that also do a ton of world building, and you can obviously expect to find a ton of new armor pieces, runic attacks, relics, and upgrade materials when you explore these optional zones too. So totally worth experiencing, especially the crater area that you can reach after your second visit to Vanaheim. Don't want to spoil too much, but it is amazing, one of my favorite areas in the game. And these optional areas also provide you with a ton of amazing enchantments to slot into your Amulet of Yggdrasil, which is yet another new feature for Ragnarok. Unlocked partway through the main story, this amulet allows you to slot various enchantments to increase your stats and unlock various other bonuses. It kind of replaces the runes you slotted into your armor in God of War 2018, so now instead of upgrading that, you need to look for Jewels of Yggdrasil to increase the number of slots on your amulet. But upgrading armor has another benefit now, as every set you find can be upgraded to the max level of 9, making every armor potentially viable for the endgame. So once you've found one that you really like, you can definitely spend all available resources to upgrade it, as you don't have to worry about it falling off in the later endgame. And speaking of endgame, God of War Ragnarok has some amazing challenges waiting for you that you'll only want to tackle once you've upgraded most of your armor and weapons. At the top of the list are the Berserkers, which are basically this game's version of the Valkyries. These bosses can be fought as soon as your first visit visit the Midgard, as you unlock the sword hilt required to start the fight against these spectral warriors as part of the main quest there. Then you have to look for these tombstones spread throughout the different realms, which will spawn the Berserker when you interact with them. Once you've finished all 9 fights, you can head back to Midgard, where you first found the sword hilt for a final fight. It's going to be very challenging, but the rewards include one of the best armors in the game and an amazing relic that can summon spectral swords to absolutely devastate enemies. We have an entire video dedicated to helping you through this quest, so I'll link to it in the description. And if you want more videos like that, make sure you subscribe and leave a like on this one if you enjoyed it so far. Another really fun challenge with amazing rewards is the returning challenge realm of Muspelheim. The layout has changed a bit, but the basic idea is still pretty much the same. You enter an arena where you have to complete a combat challenge with a special objective, and if you're successful, you unlock a reward chest. Complete all challenges and you unlock a special reward chest you can claim from the middle of this crucible area, but it also unlocks a new set of challenges that are much harder to complete, but obviously grant even better rewards. Just like the previous game, you'll need to find 2 halves of an item to enter this realm. The first one can be found early on in Svartalfheim, but the second one only becomes available later in the game, so I'll link a guide with both locations in the video description. And while those are some of the bigger pieces of side content you can dig into, there's another side activity that you really want to pay attention to. Just like the previous games, Odin's spectral ravens are spying on you and can be found throughout the realms. And you should definitely destroy them when you find them, not just because they are Odin's, which is honestly reason enough. No, but this time around, there are some amazing rewards that you find locked in chests in the realm of Niflheim. The more ravens you destroy, the more chests you can open, and you'll eventually unlock a full armor set and a set of very powerful runic attacks. You also learn about the origin of these ravens, and it's a story that takes a surprisingly dark turn, so prepare yourself for that. And if you're still hungry for more God of War even after completing most content in the base game, then totally check out the Valhalla DLC. It's a separate mode available to everyone that's launched from the main menu, and it effectively turns God of War into a roguelike, where you try to fight your way out of the ever-shifting realm of Valhalla. Every encounter rewards you with something to help you go even further, like weapon or armor perks, runic attacks or relics, and with the rewards of course being randomized, you're forced to come up with a build on the fly. You also get a surprising amount of story and character development throughout your various runs, so even if you don't care about the roguelike mechanics, I'd still say it is worth your time for that. And while I don't want to spoil what they are, there are also some special rewards that carry over into New Game Plus if you complete the story of Valhalla, and they are very much worth your time. And speaking of New Game Plus, I think Ragnarok offers you a great way to replay the game again after you first roll credits. You immediately start your second playthrough with a new armor set, the Armor of the Black Bear, which is that badass cloaked armor that Kratos used at the very beginning of the game. Now it's available for your entire playthrough though, and it even comes with a unique perk that's pretty powerful. And that's not even the only new armor available in New Game Plus, plus you also get a new shield, new looks for existing armors, and the ability to upgrade any armor even further to the new cap of 10. By doing so, you will also earn a resource that allows you to buy perks normally bound to armor or equipment as an enchantment to slot into your amulet, so that massively expands your options for build crafting too. And as the final cherry on top, the PC version comes with 2 new features that will also be added on console at a later date. The first one is the addition of cinematic audio descriptions, which provides spoken descriptions of events for players with low visibility. But the second addition will be a welcome change for everyone, as you are able to reduce the frequency with which you hear puzzle hints from your companions. While Ragnarok is arguably my favorite game of all time, this is one of the few critiques I still had. So the fact that you're able to finally turn down the frequency of puzzle hints is a small but great addition. And we've made a ton of videos on the game when it came out on PlayStation, so I'll link the full playlist in the description. Subscribe for more videos on God of War, leave a like if you enjoyed this one, and watch our video on how to have the best start by clicking on the screen. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.